Hi, I'm Janelle. Welcome to this episode of Magis Moments. Have you ever tried pushing a shopping cart that's wheels were out of alignment? It's hard work. This happened to me earlier this week. I tried really hard to keep the cart centered down the aisle, and it tried harder to pull off in another direction. If nothing else, it was a good workout and a good metaphor for today's topic, which is recognizing the things in our very personal and unique lives that have a tendency to consistently pull us off our spiritual center. As we've learned so far in our work with these videos, our center is God. We are created in His love and created to love. He becomes our hub of love, if you will. And recognizing the things that pull us away from that center is hard work, harder than keeping that shopping cart in line. Because there's so many things, if we're honest, so many things in our lives that distract us from that center. Physical habits like obsessing about how much or how little we eat and drink, sleep and exercise. Emotional patterns that we have around fear and control, judgment and self-doubt. And unhealthy attachments that we form to our possessions, to our careers, to our lifestyles, and even to our loved ones and good health. But putting in the work to recognize when these desires and attachments become what St. Ignatius calls disordered or unfreedoms, when they pull us away from feeling that hub of love that we were created in love and our purpose is to love, it has a great payoff. Because when we start to recognize those things and recenter in Christ, we move toward an inner freedom in our hearts and in our minds that makes everything else in our lives more ease-filled. We become more comfortable with who we are at our core, which is love, and we become more comfortable with whose we are and focus on the most important thing, which is to return that love to God, to others, and to ourselves. For today's Magis Moments, I invite you to quietly reflect, spend a little bit of time thinking about those things in your unique life that tend to consistently pull you away from that spiritual center. So perhaps a couple of practical ideas. One may be to start a journal, calling it a journal of focus or a journal of attention, simply jotting down at the end of each day the things that vied for your focus and attention. And noticing over time when those things tend to pull you away from feeling that source of love and being a source of love. Another idea, if you've been using the examine prayer, which we covered in the last episode, is to use that as a consideration in that prayer, to ask for God's guidance and assistance for you to become more aware what it is in your life that pulls you away from that source of love. Thanks so much for listening.